I don't just for women. I don't just for men. Lately, I'm interested for revenge. Hey, Hodies, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and I have a fiery video to throw at you today. Today is a collaboration with my friend, my beautiful friend, Brittany, also known as Born Blushing here on the platform of YouTube. Today we are both doing our own takes on revenge and what revenge makeup might look like. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Brittany in a second, but if you are new to my channel, hi, hello, welcome. My channel is often about loving my makeup collection as it currently is. I do bring some new things in every now and then, but today's video, I own all this stuff. I did not go out of my way to buy any of this stuff. A lot of people who watch my channel are on low buys or on no buys or are budgeting. I'm budgeting this year. So if that's the kind of content that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Please make sure you like this video before you leave it. And I'm also on patreon.com if you would like to support me there, but no pressure. I'm just happy that you are here. Brittany. Okay, Brittany might be the original HMT stan. Brittany was an early adopter of my content. Not the earliest adopter of my content. She came around when Hannah first shouted me out in 2021. And then she started commenting on all of my videos. Then she introduced herself to me on Instagram, and then we have just become great friends since then. We went on this crazy blush finding journey not that long ago. Honest to God, Brittany has been an incredible support system as I've been growing and been very supportive, and it has been so nice to have her as I have grown, and she's just a real one. And I was so thrilled when Brittany started her own channel. Again, it's Born Blushing. You'll be able to find it. There'll be tags, there'll be links, okay? She is even bougier than me. You hear Sicily, you hear, I have some Chantecaille, but like more Chantecaille than I have. Scoffs at the Gucci blushes. She is just absolutely lovely, and her channel is still really in the early stages, but she's doing a great job. The sound quality, the visuals, the editing, it's all there. You just have to go get it, and I think that you should. Another thing that's really great about Brittany is her channel is also about loving her collection as well. She's very happy with her collection, and so she does a lot of this on her channel too, just putting looks together, just like, I'm gonna put on a red lip today, let's build a look around a red lip. And that's beautiful content. That's what I'm here on YouTube for. So at the end of this video, I will have a card for you to be able to go over to Brittany's channel and be able to watch her video, and she's down below, so make sure you go check out Brittany's video and you go subscribe to her. Revenge. A scary concept. We're gonna talk through the makeup. I have an idea of like what I wanna do. Will it come to fruition? I don't know, but we'll find out together. The first thing I think of when I think of revenge is like red. I'm thinking red lip, something red on the eye, but not the whole eye. I want it to be like a pop of red on the eye. So I think I'm gonna do like a sparkly red on the inner corner, just gently blend it out, but then just kind of like a neutral, natural eye. And I think I might do a wing, a terracotta shade, to be interesting. It's not just black. That's my plan. We're gonna start with the eyes today. That's where I typically start, and we're gonna get going. I'm gonna zoom you in just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing just a little bit better. But I figure we can tell some stories. We can like have a chat, have a mom, like let's share our stories. Have you ever gotten revenge? I'm trying to think of things that I've done that have been out of spite, perhaps out of revenge. For the eyeshadow primer, I'm going to be using the Too Faced eyeshadow base. For those of you who are following my career with more interest than just this video, if you saw my Makeup by Mario first impressions, you may recall that I had a weird line happen on my eye, and it was because I just stopped blending the primer out there and it set. I haven't had that problem with the primer or the Makeup by Mario palette since. So that's just like a little bit of an update for you. I'm trying to think of people that I might have hated and like maybe what I have done to get revenge on them. And you might think that in my old age, I'm a little less feisty than I once was. you might not believe that, but I am. Like I'm a little less feisty than I once was. And I think I'm a little bit, I think I'm nicer, but that also might not be true. I will be using the Makeup by Mario palette again, just so you can see it another time. If I'm not sure that any of the really wet look shades will make it to my eyes today, but I do just want to set the primer again with the lightest beige shade in this palette. I also think that I might draw on eyebrows, but not like real eyebrows, I think I want to give something that's a little bit angular, and it might not even be that big. It might just be like two little streaks, like kind of making me look angry. I think that's something that I might do. I was going into this camel shade, but it looks a lot like the beige shade I just set down. I think I'm going to keep it all in the brown family today on my eye. I'm not going to go into like the cooler tone shade. So the first person I thought of that I think I do recall doing this. My freshman year of college, I had a roommate who I wasn't a really big fan of. And let me say, as I progress through these stories, I am a little bit proud of them because it was like moments where I felt like I was standing up for myself. But I do not think that you should do this. I'm not endorsing the act of these things, that you did it. And I you know what, I'm not going to say any Hail Marys and take remorse about what I did. I just, I don't feel bad about the things I'm going to tell you either. I'm sure I had more reasons to hate him than I can remember, but like, I think you also need to know that I was like a real big goody two-shoes back in the day. Now, I didn't really care that people smoked marijuana at the time. I did care that he smoked in our room. And I was like, if we get caught, I'm going to be so mad. I wasn't smoking. I didn't partake. I smoked weed for the first time like 2 years ago, and I'm 32. So that goody two shoes thing lasted really long. Now, did I black out a lot in my mid-20s? Of course I did. Of course I did, but that was legal. I was allowed to do that. I accidentally started a war with that roommate. So one day he was smoking in the bathroom because it was the kind of dorm, I guess this is probably the more common dorm room situation, but I know it wasn't. Like, I feel like I was in the first generation where, like, we actually had our own rooms and our own bathrooms in our rooms. Like, we didn't have, like, shared bathrooms. I mean, we shared a bathroom, but, like, it wasn't, like, a floor-wide bathroom. Anyway, he was smoking weed in the bathroom, and I could smell it. And our room always smelled funky. And I think it actually smelled more like dank mixed in with the smell of whatever he was trying to use to cover it up, like, to neutralize the scent. And I just thought it smelled so foul. I also, to this day, even though I will partake, I don't like the smell. I also think it's because I was a camper, like when I was young, and it just was like, that's just dead skunk. Or maybe dead skunks don't smell like that at all, and that was just what I was told as I was growing up in order to be like, oh, that's certainly not that smell. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm gonna be really upset. Really upset if that happens to be true. Anyway, was everyone just high all the time and I didn't know it? I think I'm entitled to compensation. I'm entitled to compensation anyway, but for that, jail. I'm really thinking about it, and I really think that's what happened. And I'm shook up. I'm shook up. I'm not gonna let it go. It's gonna be what I think about for, I don't know, the rest of my life. I then knocked on my RA's door. I was gonna tell on him. I was a little tattle. I wouldn't do this anymore. Don't tattle on your friends smoking weed. Let them live. I actually have a lot of remorse about this actual part of the story. But my RA was like, don't worry about that. Like, and he was right. He was right. Everyone on the floor found out that I was like a little bit of a narc, and no one on the floor liked me after that, and that's okay. I ended up transferring schools, but that was from fall into spring semester. And when I came back, we were really not good, and I think we were passive aggressively doing things to make each other angry. Now, I can't remember him doing anything to me, and perhaps he was doing secret things to me, but I do distinctly remember he left a dirty Q-tip from his ear, I suppose, on the counter in the bathroom. That's really gross. There was a trash can right next to it. There was a trash can right next to it. There was no, he didn't have to walk anywhere. There was just a trash can. It was right there. The trash can was right there. On God. No extra effort. Just left it there. And maybe that was his act of rebellion. So my act of revenge, I thought I saw a spider. Maybe I have spider ghosts in my room. That's like the second time recently that's happened mid-video. I mean, I am known for just like a bug meandering into my video. As we remember, it was all flies all summer, but not like an alarming amount. I made that sound like there was like an alarming amount of flies. No, it was just like, there just was like a fly every time I recorded. And I'm surrounded by like these lights, and so I turn on the lights and then the flies all come. Whatever bugs are in the house, they're like, we gotta go. We gotta go there. We gotta go annoy them. I took the dirty Q-tip. Yeah, we're still talking about this. I took the dirty Q-tip and I wiped it on his toothbrush. We shouldn't be leaving our toothbrush. And you know what? I think this now, and now it's like my biggest fear. I committed a toothbrush-related crime, and I'm like, how many toothbrush-related crimes have been committed on me? How many do you think have been committed on you? You just can't trust people with your toothbrushes out like that. You just can't. You just can't. Maybe I feel like a little bit bad about that, but like, I mean, I didn't really like him. I didn't really get along with him. Also, he too was gay. I think that was also my first foray into like catty gaydom, just like dealing with another gay person. And I'm not trying to say, like, I'm not trying to generalize here, but like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. You just heard a story about how I've done that. But the way the dorms were, this is just a story about my college career. The dorm I lived in was for musical theater majors, but I was not a musical theater major. You know, you could do that. Like, you could be like, I would like to live with these people. And I thought whenever I like had that option when I was picking housing that I might be able to get like a gay roommate. And I was like, oh, we'll be like the best of friends because we're both gay and we're gay people and gay people that will connect. I didn't think I was gonna get like a boyfriend out of my roommate. That wasn't part of the plan. But I was just like, oh my God, they're gonna understand me, whatever. We were just like really different and we have really different upbringings. And I mean, I wish him well now. I don't have any feelings about him either way, but it didn't turn out that way. And here's some like larger commentary on like the culture of gay men, because I don't want to speak for gay queer women or lesbians because I'm not in that group of people. But like, and I hate that I'm saying this, and it's, again, this is just a generalization. Not all gay people are like this, and like, this doesn't mean that society is crumbling because of gay people because I say this, but it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. Gay men meet other gay men and they're like, if they're not turned on by you, it's like they need to like be better than you and they need to prove it. And so they're just gonna be like really snarky and mean to you because they like have decided that you're like not worthy of their sexual attraction or something like that. I don't know. That's like my baseline guess as to what that probably is, but I also could be wrong. I have been hearing that some of my contemporaries on my peers, that's the word I was looking for. Some of my peers have been using glitter glue for the shimmers in this palette, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to use not the taupe one, even though it is my favorite. I just don't think that would go with the red too well. I'm gonna put some of the NYX glitter primer all over the lid, and I'm just gonna do like a light layer of the lighter shimmer shade, this one right here. That's like the thing that came to mind. That's so minimal. I like cooked up quite a few like revenge narratives for myself. Follow through on them is not the best, but you know how some people might say that like the best revenge is like that paper. I mean, that Beyonce said that. I do want Beyonce to approve of my very existence. In fact, I need that. So Beyonce, if you ever see this, just let me know that you approve. Much like Beyonce says, the best revenge is that paper. Is the paper. Why can't I remember how she actually says that? I'm actually just gonna go in with my finger. The taupey shade is still my favorite one. I'm not gonna lie to you. The taupey one is still my favorite. This one's good, but it's not as good as the taupey one. I'm gonna throw some more on with my finger. Sometimes I'll think about like exes or people who bullied me in high school or at church. A lot of that was happening at church. Just so you know, church made me gay and non-binary. Darlene, if you are in the chat getting ready to drop a truth bomb on me, you're good. It's okay. You don't need to. I think about and how they really didn't want me to be me or how I wasn't good enough for them in some fashion. That honestly, me being very comfortable in my skin and loving myself is the best thing to be revengeful with, because it's now something they can't take away from me. It was something they tried really hard to take away from me and made sure that never happened. They really didn't want me to succeed. They really didn't want me to be able to be my true authentic self and have joy, but also exes. And I'm not saying that everyone's exes are all like these terrible people that did terrible things, but like even then it's like that they weren't good enough for you because either you're continuing your upward trajectory of growth, or they didn't love you for who you were as it was, or they didn't find you attractive the way you were, and it was just like, I'm good. Like there's like some psychological torture that happens in that thought cycle, isn't there? Like when you really break it down, it's just like a lot of times after the breakup, if you were broken up with, and I know it's hard to break up with people too, there's like no way to get out of that scot-free. Scott? Who's Scott? Scott. Is it scot-free? I have no idea. It's really hard to get out of that situation without feelings getting hurt. It's like kind of the nature of the beast when like you're getting dumped or when a friendship ends and whatever. Like those are all things that are like gonna happen. You are left in that aftermath to be like, am I not good enough? Will anyone ever love me? What is gonna happen? What's going on? Like, I can't believe this is how things turned out, etc. I am gonna do a wing with the Kulfi eyeliner in the shade Tiger Queen. I'm gonna do that in some speed footage, and then I will come back to you when that is done. I can't talk through a wing. I'm so sorry, babes. I'm gonna be using the shade Black Coffee from Pat McGrath. I'm just gonna be doing that in the waterline and the tight line. Now you may recall that I said I'm going to do an inner corner of red, and I'm going to. Let's do that now. For that red, I'm going to be using this one from the Pat McGrath Mothership 5 Bronze Temptation or Seduction. Not really sure what fancy word mother said. But I will be mixing it with the Mayron mixing liquid to give it some oomph and give it some lasting power. Here's a question for you. Question time. Why do you think we romanticize the idea of revenge? I'm also going to take the Dream. I think this is a limited edition shade from Rituel de Fille. It's like this red highlighter, this like red pink highlighter. And I'm going to top the Pat McGrath shade with that. Because it does feel like it's like a reclaiming of power sort of thing whenever you think about revenge. It's like, oh, like I lost my power. This person wronged me. And it's like taking back control. But like, what do we get out of revenge? Other than being mean, what did I get out of the act of like putting earwax on my roommate's toothbrush? Did it feel good in the moment? Sort of, but like not good enough to like actually have gone through with the act, which I did. I don't know. It's a really curious thing to think about whenever you think about. I'm using the Bobbi Brown. I'm almost out. I'm using the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I don't know. I just started thinking about that while I was doing my eyeliner. There are movies where you like watch it and it's like essentially like about a person who is scorned going to get revenge. And the whole movie like builds up to this thing. I think a very good example would be, I don't, spoiler alert for The Invisible Man that came out in 2020. There's something so satisfying about the end of that movie because a person gets their comeuppance because of their bad behavior. But then you have to like live with that, especially if you're like your revenge plot. If like whatever you're doing to get revenge is like really intense like that, it's just like, is that worth it? Now I realize that sometimes, and I'm thinking of very late situations, right? But, you know, sometimes I'll hear in the news where, like, you know, there are people who are in abusive relationships. And that was the green color corrector from Chanel. They get revenge. And it's just like, sometimes it feels good. But, like, it sits in that place where it feels like both really good and really terrible, right? Like, revenge kind of sits in that place. Do you ever just do things and you're like, oh, this is like an act of revenge on this person? I went on a date yesterday and I wasn't thinking about my ex at all on this date. I really wasn't. I was having a really good time with the person that I was going out with. And in my brain before I left the house, I was like, this is me getting revenge on that last person. I don't really need to get revenge on that last person, but the thought amused me. The thought of that, it would be like revenge on my ex to just go out with another person. And a person who like seemingly is like very into me and like perhaps might be more into me than that person ever was. It's food for thought, right? I was like, this is an act of revenge. And, you know, perhaps thinking about things like that as an act of revenge might be like healthier for us overall. It might be just like healthier thought activity to really get revenge, but like in a way that's like harmless to everyone else and good for us, the person committing that act of revenge and calling that thing that really isn't revenge an act of revenge. And that way you can sit with the satisfaction of it like sort of feels like revenge, but it's not actually, and you don't have to like deal with the fallout of it. Does that make sense? Am I making any kind of sense? Perhaps we take these smaller things and use them as a point of reference as revenge instead of like actually going out of our way to potentially harm someone, whether emotionally or physically. Like we shouldn't be going out of our way to hurt people like that. I think that all the things that could be done to me where it would evoke me wanting to commit revenge, I don't know if that's like the right way to say that, but like I guess like commit revenge could all be avoided if everyone behaved like adults. But it's unfortunate, like even when you are an adult, people don't behave like it's adults. Like sometimes communication could resolve all the things that would cause all the problems. that make people want to do the bad thing in the first place that requires another person to get revenge. Someone needs to draw a chart for us because I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I was like, I think I do, and I hope you got it. I got revenge for my sanity in college. By the end of my college career, I was like really 100% over it. And my teachers all hated me because I started gaming the system. And by that, I knew what I had to do to just get a passing grade. And that's all I do. So there was like one class I took where the grade basically all hinged on the final project. The project was like 90% of our grade. And I was like, I can still get an A in this class. I'll do perfect on the final, but I won't do any of the discussions because it was an online school. The teacher would email me every week. It's like, you haven't done discussions. And I was like, don't worry about me. And when you know it, I did get an A in that class because I got a perfect on my final project. Game the system. Game systems, not people. And don't oppress people while you're gaming the system. It's a hard ask. Really can't be done. For the foundation, that was the Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation. I used the shade Porcelain, and it was mixed with the Auric Glow Lust and Morganite. Now I'm going to be using this concealer from Armani, which is the Luminous Silk Concealer. I believe I have the shade 2. The shade sure is like rubbed off the bottom at this point. Not a hundo on that, but I'm fairly certain that's what it is. If there's anyone who really deserved to get revenge from me, it was probably like a different college roommate in a different scenario. There were 4 of us living in this apartment, and the one roommate was he was god awful, so entitled. And the thing that was really interesting is that he was like 5 years older than the rest of us living in the house or in the apartment, which is like fine, whatever. But like he behaved like a child. That's a really big pet peeve of mine. Adults behaving as if they're not adults. And it's just like, why are you making these choices? You're making a lot of choices. I've had friendships get really hurt by acts like that, where it's just like, you're acting like a child and you know better. And it's not even like, whatever stupid thing they're doing probably doesn't affect me directly, but I see them doing it and I'm like, I see you doing that stupid thing and you should reconsider. And then they go do it and I'm like, you're an adult. Why on earth would you do that? I'm moving on to contour. I'm going to be using, of course, the Fenty Cheeks Out bronzer in the shade Amber for cream contour. I have another video that hasn't come out yet where I point this out. I'm going to point it out here too. If you can see here, we are making some progress from the center up into this corner. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to hit, it's an octagon, so all 8 straight sides by doing that and just like trying to work my way up to the side of the pan like that. I also don't always use contour up in the parts of my forehead, but I have been because I'm trying to use this up. I'm really trying to kiss her goodbye. I've had her. But you know what product that I have probably panned the most of in my life? It's contour. And I know that like the contour trend is like basically over and like, I know that people still contour, but like the KKW of it all is like really over. Like people don't contour like that anymore. And I'm like well aware of that, but like, I like it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel sexy. It makes me feel gorgeous and stunning. Sometimes I get revenge on makeup brands whenever they do something stupid or when they start releasing a lot of stupid products. I just stop shopping from them for a while. Now, grand scheme of things, they don't know that's my little act of revenge, but like that's like the only thing that really do anything. Like if a brand starts releasing stuff that I'm not interested, I don't buy from them. Like it's like a general rule of thumb, but I have fallen into brand loyalty, which we've talked about many times. And now I'm a little more discerning when it comes to things like that. Like I don't have like brand loyalty anymore. There are certainly brands that I'm more interested in, but like my little act of revenge to the makeup brands is, well, I'm not going to buy from you for a while. I'm going to powder my face with the Chantecaille Perfect Blur Powder. I'm going to start under my eyes and then work my way out from there. This is a new brush to me. So I think I mentioned this in another video that I bought some more Sonia G brushes. And the reason I did is that I didn't have anything to get this close to my under eye, and I wanted something gentler for my nose that would be less likely to disturb product because that's like always an area of issue. Sometimes you don't need to powder all over the face. I typically do. I'm an oily little bench. It just behooves me to powder a little bit more. I do want to add more contour to the face only because there's something about contour that feels a little fierce, feels a little severe. And I think whenever we're trying to evoke the feeling of revenge, like you want that like sharp look. I'm adding a little bit of Kevin Aquan contouring powder. Obviously, I'm telling you what I'm using because some people seem interested in that, but you can absolutely do it with whatever you have in your collection. If you would want to replicate this look, which I'm not sure why you would, but if you would want to replicate the look, obviously look into your collection. Don't buy anything new. to do this because it requires you to get creative. That's like one fun thing about whenever you're like replicating something and not trying to buy what the person has. It's like you get creative and then you start using products differently because you just like might only have like a red shiny thing in an eyeshadow, or a red, maybe you don't have red lipstick but you have a red eyeshadow and you press it onto your lips and you're playing around with it. There's so many fun ways to play with makeup. It's like the whole point. Have you ever just like plotted out like a revenge scenario in your brain, like a real one? You're like, and I would do this and I would do that and then I would do this and then I would do that. I'm gonna bronze my face with the bronzer from Tom Ford and Tara, but you know what I mean. Like you would be like, my ex was so mean to me, I'm gonna go to his house and open his garage and I don't know where would we go from here? Because obviously we're not gonna talk about like offing people. That's not right. We're not doing that. But like, what could we do? How can we scorn our ex-boyfriends with a garage, with a scenario that involves a garage? I don't know. Just leave it open, let the squirrels get in. That's where they keep their trash, and the raccoons get in there, and then there's just like a mess of trash. And it's like,
oh, that's why I always close the garage door.
Maybe I'm not as imaginative as I think I am. I never said I was smart, so you guys trying to like tell me that I am in the comments down below, just take it back. It's fine. I don't need it. I'm gonna use the At Night blush from Hourglass. Am I looking like revenge? And now we're gonna go back into the Dream highlighter and just finish off our all red all the time face. It's not revenge, it's redvenge. I'm gonna spray my face with some Fix Plus. Mac, if you're listening to me, which I'm sure you are, make it bigger. I don't care how much more, well, don't make it unreasonably more expensive. It doesn't need to be a value size. I just wanna have to buy it less. Thank you. That's all. Now I'm gonna put on mascara. And now for the stunner, the lip, it is going to be the Hourglass in Red Zero. Do you wanna do a quick Sephora sale haul? The one thing's not down here because it's like, it was skincare, but I bought a Sephora collection moisturizer, the IGK Beach Club hairspray, and necessary deodorant. The look isn't complete. We're gonna do head to toe. So let me slip into something a little more revengeful. Okay, I have on a little bit of an outfit. I'm gonna zoom you out so you'll be able to see it in all its glory as I walk back. And you might think this is just, you're like, Tom, it's just a turtleneck. No. I'm also out of breath because it took me a really long time to get these shoes on because I haven't worn them in a while. I mean leg. Honey, leg is in. Leg is it. I'm a bad bitch. I'm going out to get revenge. But I feel like this wouldn't be complete with a little bit of a fragrance. So I think that Tom Ford's Black Orchid is giving, it evokes revenge. It's sexy, it's sultry, it's dark. I mean, what more could we ask for? I can't ask for anything more. It's just gonna, now this dress is just gonna smell like this because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not actually getting revenge. I'll zoom you in, take it in. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go watch Brittany's video. I can't wait to see what she did. I can't wait to see what revenge looks like to her, smells like to her, feels like to her. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video before you leave it. And again, I'm on patreon.com if you would like to support me there. I will see you in the next video. Remember to follow your haute. And you will find who? Me. Thank you again. I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Revenge!